Hey guys, I really love movies, but every once in a while, you just need to make a video that's just different, that just talks about something completely different. Back when I first started this channel, it was just me going on rants about various topics. Of course, a lot of it was related to hip hop music, hip hop artists. So I figured, you know what? Let's do some hip hop videos. Like, I'm going to do one today. And I'll probably do another one sometime soon. But let's just focus on the one right now. So in this video, I want to talk about my top 10 favorite hip hop albums before the year 2000. Why before the year 2000? Because most hip hop fans tend to agree the golden age ended in the late 90s. So it seemed like a good cutoff. So these are my top 10 favorite hip hop albums. Keep in mind, I'm not quite as good at critiquing music as I am with movies, but I think I do a good enough job with music. So this will be a lot more subjective. So let's get into it, shall we? Number 10, Death Certificate by Ice Cube, 1991. Now, as you know, Ice Cube was the member of the hip hop group NWA with their first hip hop album, well, not first, but their most famous hip hop album, Straight Outta Compton. And Ice Cube was one of the few members that actually had a really big solo career afterwards, with his first album, America's Most Wanted, doing pretty well. Death Certificate, I think, had a little bit more controversy with the lyrics and content than it did with the first one. Hell, there's even a diss track towards his old hip hop group, No Vaseline, and I just absolutely love that song. So, yeah, I really like Ice Cube, and I really like this album. That's pretty much all I have to say about this one. So let's move on. Number 9, Life is Too Short by Too Short, 1989. To be honest, I really don't pay much attention to Too Short's career, but I really like this hip hop album. I mean, there's a lot of good songs, such as. Hold on, I got the track listing on my phone. Alright, track listing includes Nobody Does It Better, Don't Fight the Feeling, one of my personal favorites, Cuss Words, the first song I listened to from this album, City of Dope, and several other ones. And I don't know, this is one of the first hip hop albums I've listened to once I started becoming a true hip hop fan, and I just really like this album. And I especially like with Cuss Words, where it's just basically one really, really long verse, and with Don't Fight the Feeling, it's sort of like a this like rap battle in, throughout the entire song. I just really like how that's done. So this is one of my favorites. Now let's move on to number 8, Straight Outta Compton by NWA. You knew I had to put it on here. So like I said, it's the hip hop group that had Ice Cube, Dr. Dre, Eazy-E. Those three are the most famous ones. You have MC Ren, DJ Yella, and a really, really lesser known one, Arabian Prince. Now with Straight Outta Compton, this is like the quintessential gangsta rap album. I mean, there's just so much detail, so much action and violence. There's even a song called F the Police. And this is just one of those hip hop albums that you have to listen to if you're looking at the most important albums from each decade. It's just an album that it's really hard to ignore. So, yeah, this is, again, a very important one considering the history of hip hop. Now let's go on to number 7. The 18th Letter by Rakim from 1997. Now, for those of you who are more casual hip hop fans, there was a duo, DJ Eric B and MC Rakim who started back in the 80s, and they really changed how rap was like structured, stylized, and executed. And they're just probably the most famous people, well, two of the most famous people of hip hop. And this was Rakim's actually first solo album, and I really like it. My favorite track, Guess Who's Back? I mean, there are still a lot of people who think Rakim is the ultimate goat of hip hop, and I can't say they're wrong. So, if you're interested and wondering how great this rapper is, check out the album because the guy's made kind of had a reputation of doing such great songs with really no swear words, no explicits. Now, of course, there is another album down the road where there are explicitives and there are cuss words, but he goes right back to like taking those out altogether. So, if you're interested in seeing what this possible goat sounds like, check it out. Now, let's go on to number 6, Doggy Style by Snoop Doggy Dogg, 1993. Now, we all know who Snoop Dogg is today. And while he has put out some couple of recent good projects, still some people would argue that today is really more of a rapper who performs like single and hit tracks rather than entire albums. But with his first album, Doggy Style, it's one of the most famous and well loved ones. I mean, the humor, the storytelling. I mean, this is basically everything about Snoop Dogg summed up in just one album. And he got his help thanks to Dr. Dre, and he appears on the album too. And it's just Snoop Doggy Dogg doing what he does best. Number 5 now. Enter the Wu-Tang, 36 Chambers by the Wu-Tang Clan, 1993. Now, of course, it's one of the biggest hip-hop groups ever known, and this is how they got their start. I mean, you've got RZA, Jizza, Old Dirty Bastard, Inspectah Deck, Ghostface Killer, Raekwon, and several others. I mean, this is probably one of the biggest hip-hop groups ever, and they got all these like styles and techniques that are just really unique to them that actually help a lot of them get their own solo careers. But this is when they utilize it to their best. And still today, by far, their best album. Now let's move on to number 4. The Don Illuminati, The 7-Day Theory by Tupac, 1996. Now, to be fair, this was the one and only album where Tupac was going by the name Machiavelli. And while it was recorded while he was alive over a 7-day period, it was released after his death. And there's a lot of depth and interesting stuff that he does on this album that I really can't explain well on this video. So just go check it out for yourself. Number 3, Me Against the World, Tupac, 1995. Now, even though this list will only have 2 Tupac albums on here, he is my favorite rapper. And with Me Against the World, this is where he says, pretty much at the lowest point in his life, he's getting sent to jail for a crime he really didn't commit. And this is where he's the most sensitive, where he's has most depth, his most complex, and it's just, it really touches and moves you, too. And this is a guy who will later go on to do All Eyes on Me, which is pretty aggressive. And even though I really like All Eyes on Me, Me Against the World just does Tupac's best lyricism, best work on this one album. Now, with that said, let's move on to number 2. Paid in Full by Eric B. and Rakim, 1987. Now, like I said before, Rakim is still considered by many to be the GOAT of hip-hop. And this was back when he got technically his first start with his partner, producer, Eric B. And this album really changed how rap was stylized, how the songs were structured, how the flow of each rap was going. And it's just one of those albums you just have to listen to for the first time. It's, again, one of those albums. This is the quintessential of the decade. Now, number 1 rap album, Pre-2000, Illmatic by Nas. You knew I had to put it on here. I mean, this is another rapper that's considered the GOAT by many people. This album is considered one of the best of the entire genre. I mean, this came from a guy who got his debut, and there was absolutely no guest stars, no special famous appearances, just a local kid just rapping, and the storytelling and his style. It's really great. Now that concludes my list of hip hop albums pre-2000. Of course, this means I will do at least one more video where I do my top 10 favorite hip hop albums post 2000. And maybe sometime after that, I might do just a top 10 of all time, combining the two lists. But I'll work on this next one and probably release it hopefully not too long. I mean, I still gotta focus on movies and such. But this is my rant video on music and such, so I hope you like this change of pace. But yeah, next time you see me, it's back to Dr. Cinema and movies.